Welcome to today's math lesson. Today we're working with triangular prisms. And every triangular prism has two congruent triangles at each end of itself, opposite ends. And it's separated by parallel lines that create rectangles, just like that. So today we want to find the surface area of this 3D solid. Surface area basically means we need to find the area of each face and add them all up together to create a total surface area. Use surface area if you need to cover something completely, such as wrapping paper. If this was a Toblerone chocolate bar and you wanted to wrap it up for holidays or as a gift, you'd want to calculate what the surface area is so you can measure it exactly and use the right amount of wrapping paper to cover it. To do that, we need some measurements to complete our calculations. The measurements you'll need to do this is you'll need to know what the height of the triangle face is. You'll also need to know what the measurement of the base of that triangle face is. You'll also need to know the measurement for the long part of the object, which is known as the height of the 3D solid. And you'll also need to know one of the measurements of one of the sides that creates the triangles. So you'll need those pieces of information. And right now I'm just going to add on those imaginary measurements to help us calculate what they are. So in blue, you'll see that this side will be labeled 10 centimeters. We'll label the base of this triangle face with 5 centimeters. And we'll label the height here with a measurement of 6 centimeters. And we'll label this side over here with, let's say, 7 centimeters. So now what we need to think about is this triangular prism. What does it look like if we unfolded it and put it into a two-dimensional net? If we did that, we would have something that looks like this two-dimensional net, like this. We'd have our rectangles in the middle, and we'd have our triangles on opposite ends, like that. And as you can see, we have 5 faces. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. With those 5 faces, we want to kind of cut them up and separate them so we can give each one its own dimensions and measurements. We'll calculate each one's surface area, and then we will calculate a total surface area altogether. And so now I've sketched out those faces. I've cut them apart. We've got our 2 triangles here and here. Then we've got our 3 rectangles here. So I'm going to start with the rectangles. We need to calculate the area of the triangles. And the area of the triangles is, as always, base times height divided by 2. And in this situation, if we put in the numbers, the base is 5 times the height, which is 6, divided by 2. And that would give us 15 centimeters squared. Now we need to look at this other triangle here, but it's congruent, so it has the exact same dimensions. So it's actually going to be 15 centimeters as well. So both these triangles are 15 centimeters. Now we're going to look at the rectangles. This first rectangle we're going to look at, this one here, is this rectangle here. It's this one that's kind of facing us, the one that's in our front view right here. So what are the dimensions of that rectangle? Well, it seems to have a long side of 10 and a short side of 7. And to find the area of a rectangle, it's length times width. So we know that 10 times 7 is 70 centimeters. This rectangle here on this side here, this is the one on the back side, the one that we can't see. But if we kind of use our imagination, we can see that there's a long side here and a short side here. And we know that this long side is parallel to this, exactly the same. So it's going to be 10. And we also know that this side here is the same as this one here, it's the 7. So it's going to be another 10 long and 7 on the short side, like that. Length times width again, same formula, length times width, which equals 70. Just like that. And now we need to look at our bottom rectangle on the bottom of our triangular prism right here. I'll shade it in so we can see it a little better. And here you'll notice the measurements actually is a little different. We still have a long side of 10, but our short side here is a 5, like that. And so the area for this last rectangle is actually length times width is 50. So let me move this up so we can create a little more room here so we can write down our final calculations. All we have to do now is we have to add up all these areas that we found for each shape into a total. So I'm going to add triangle number 1, which was 15 centimeters, plus triangle number 2, which was also 15 centimeters because they're congruent. Rectangle number 1, which was 70 centimeters. Rectangle number 2, which was another 70 centimeters. And the rectangle on the bottom was 50 centimeters. And I'll label it so I don't forget them. And we just have to add them up all together, and your grand total will be the complete surface area. And you should have a complete final answer for a total surface area of 215 centimeters squared. And that would give you, if you cut out wrapping paper, that would give you enough wrapping paper to cover your whole triangular prism.